We're live.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. 45 seconds in.
We're in. We're live.
We're live. All right, that was it.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you so very much for being here.
That's a great show, Thomas.
Yeah, no, you were
I'm
excellent.
just glad that we hit record, 3 hours ago, and we captured all of the definition of the meaning of life.
Yeah, something that I don't feel we can ever talk about again or capture.
Because if we do, it just ruin the moment.
Yeah. It felt like it was it was being told to us through it.
Through like some sort of divine intervention.
Yeah, but that we can't do it again.
Yeah. It's
Oh wait, something's going on here. What is this?
What's that?
It says it's only recorded a minute.
Ooh.
Oh Jesus. I guess we're done.
Crap. How are we gonna follow up that one?
I don't know. Maybe we could talk about have you heard about this band?
I think once or twice.
Oh, they're pretty good.
I'm just surprised they don't actually have any angels in that band.
Or battlefields.
Weird. That's weird.
Or singers. Or bass players. Or drummers.
I mean, it is like a battlefield.
Or a real
like
guitarist. Wait, what? It is like a train wreck. If you could go back and be any other musician within that band, what would it be?
So, I definitely would pick the hurdy-gurdy player.
Would you really?
Yeah, that or the harpsichord player.
Would you rather be a hurdy-gurdy player that can write music or continue to be the guitarist you are?
Definitely be the guitarist that I am.
Oh, all right. So you don't care about writing music. You just want to play guitar really well.
Music is dumb.
It is. Music is not dumb. Musicians, however.
No. Music is
very
dumb because it does not physically have a brain, so it cannot,
That's not what you... That is not true.
How does music have a brain?
There is a philosophy out there that music itself, sound, is like the thought or existence.
So you're saying it's the key to the universe?
Yeah.
That would actually... I would like to dive a little deeper into that one.
Yeah, not me. All right, so...
Why not? I don't have my bathing suit.
Yeah, I'm not wearing my pajamas today. What is today's show about? Do you know?
Something about doing things for just the sake of doing things, I think.
He doesn't even... I thought you prepped for these shows.
Me?
Yeah.
Nah, it's going blind.
Yeah, I noticed. Anyway, so JD will be here today listening. And
I got my bell.
And also, apparently, today is JD's last show.
Oh.
Bye,
everybody. It was nice being here.
Yeah, he does an excellent job. I feel like it motivates him. All right, what's it say?
It says, what you do is not your job when craft becomes products for products' sake.
What does that mean to you? Both those statements. They're two separate statements.
So the first half...
what does the first half mean?
What you do is not your job.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Means,
to you?
To me, it means
like how does it make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel kind of like self-reflective.
What's it make you think of? Go ahead, just answer.
Makes me think.
The audience just want to sit here and listen to you ramble. Anyway, go ahead. So what you do is not your job. Can you explain that to people?
Do passionately is not my job.
What do you mean? What do you like to do passionately?
Your mom. Womp womp.
1 second. Today is JD's show.
I love to play music passionately. That's
it. That's what you do.
That's what I do. And
you play music passionately.
It is not my job.
By the way, it's also an alliteration. JD plays music passionately, poorly. See? Plays passionately, poorly. That's an alliteration that I just made up.
Perfectly poorly.
Perfectly poorly.
Listen, you gotta get as much peas in there as possible.
Not porkly though. Not porkly.
No. That's for breakfast.
Because you are physically fit.
I try to be.
I'm trying to do but I spelt fit with PHIT.
So that counts. So we got the P in there.
So it's we definitely got the P in there, and she was not happy.
Oh.
All right. So what you do is not your job. So what does that mean though?
It means that is not what leads to your success. That's not what it is that you are. Getting rewarded financially to do.
That is not what that means. I mean, it will lead to that eventually, but what you do is not your job. See, it's hurting him.
It's the same elbow that I keep hitting.
What you do is not your job. That phrase solely focuses on people who only focus on what they do, and they believe it is their job. So it's a mantra to get you to start thinking outside of what you do, because what you do is not your job. And if you can start thinking that what you do is not your job, then you could start saying, well, what is my job? And what he was talking about, which is another part of the lesson, is your job rewards you financially due to the thing you do passionately. But the statement, what you do is not your job, is for people who focus solely on what they do as their job. But no one gets paid to be an actor or a musician. There are things you do, which are your job, that lead you to get paid to be a musician or an actor or a writer or whatever.
But it is not on the merits of your skills that
Correct.
Yeah, people are paying you.
Yeah, you can't be like, I'm a writer, and then like you have a job as a writer. You can be a writer, but it doesn't mean you're getting paid to be a writer. Because if you write, you're a writer. If you play music, you're a musician. It's just
if you do the thing, you're that thing.
Yeah, because it's what you do. But again, if I write 16 books and I keep them in my closet, no one will know that my books are gay.
Or that you're a writer.
Oh, or that I'm a writer. But the moment I tell someone I'm a writer, I'm starting to do my job poorly, but I'm still doing it. But anyway, with that said, what you do is not your job is focus solely on people who acknowledge that the idea is that what they do is literally their job. And this mantra is supposed to help you rethink your brain, right? Use your entrepreneurial brain to retrain your brain to think outside the box. Because what you do is not your job. Your job rewards you financially to do the thing you do passionately. However, that mindset of believing what you do is your job leads to your craft becoming the most important thing to you. If I am the best in the world, I will get work because I'm amazing, awesome, unique, because my craft has been mastered. And then that turns from craft into product, and then product becomes product. People think if I make a thing, they will come. If I make a CD, people will buy it because it's my craft is honed. But I know a lot of amazing guitarists that can't write. But I also know a lot of bands that are successful that can't write because they get other people to write for them, or they get,
or how many musicians do you know personally that just are phenomenal musicians, but
none.
They just don't do anything.
Zero guitar. None of them are good.
Everyone's terrible.
I know a lot of successful musicians that are amazing, but their success has nothing to do with their music. The same thing, vice versa, where I know people who aren't successful that are amazing musicians, and all they do is they put more money into products. They put more money into CDs. But this goes for actors too. They put money into acting lessons, right? Because they're just focused on their craft, and then their craft becomes products, and they think the product. Name one actor that goes, I made this movie. My career is blown up, right?
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. But the idea is that film itself is only a tool to help you do your job. If you are reliant on that film or that book or that CD or a show or anything that is considered a product, and just to clarify, a product versus merchandise. Merchandise is for advertisement. It helps expand the awareness of your brand. So, for example, if I am not a shirt dealer or I don't have an apparel company, but I am a band and I have shirts, that shirt is merchandise. It is not product. Product is a direct relationship to what it is your services create.
So if you're a band and you have a T-shirt with the band name and some
that is merchandise.
That is merchandise. But say you are, Abercrombie and Fitch, that is product.
That is product. However, if Abercrombie and Fitch released the CD with like top 90s hits or whatever, top 20
or whatever they're playing that month,
that is merchandise for them. But a band would make a CD because that is the product of their service.
Gotcha. So you're saying that if the physical thing that is being created, if it is not a direct relation to what it is that you provide service-wise, then it becomes merchandise. So
it becomes merchandise. Yeah.
So let's say you have like a car dealership and they decide to do like those keychain giveaways, or they have like the beach balls.
That is merchandise. Yeah. In fact, you could go into any car dealership and see shirts that they sell their Dodge shirts and stuff.
Oh.
And that's all merchandise. But anyway, but if you have the mindset of what I do is my job, you focus on your craft. And if you focus on your craft, you start focusing on the product as a result to your craft. And again, product. So what you're doing is you just keep creating these walls that will lead you to not succeed. Ooh, what do we got here?
Ooh, we got some.
We got Boss. Yo,
Boss.
What's up, man? Thank you for joining. Thanks for commenting. Awesome.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, we love having people interact on the show.
And hang out with us.
So if you focus on your product, right, for product's sake, what that means is if I make a CD because I believe that CD will make me money, I'm no longer doing my job. I am being reliant or beholden to the concept of the product.
It's the same thing with a movie, I'm assuming, as well. So if you're like
movie, book, it doesn't matter.
I want to make a movie for the sake of making a movie because it'll make me blow up. It's the same mentality.
Yeah. The idea is that your products should be utilized as a tool or they're boosts, right? So you ever see on Facebook, you could boost your post.
Oh, yeah.
You got to think of product like that. A product is a big release. So there's a lead up to the release. There should be a lead up to the lead up to the release, meaning we should be watching the story of you developing that product, which helps you do what? Build your brand, your story, helps people connect to you. It starts building a little bit of awareness, and you're doing some of your job. Your job in this instance is marketing, networking. You're practicing how to do what you're doing, because every time you do something, you're practicing it. So you're always practicing something, but you could be practicing it poorly or correctly. And that's where practice is about understanding your strengths and weaknesses, because you should say to yourself, how am I doing this right? And you can't just be like, well, I'm doing it, so it has to be right.
So you're saying you have to do it and then look at it afterwards to be like, oh, did I do this properly? And then you have to examine and say, this is what I did right. This is what I did wrong.
But for a true practitioner, right, of growth, you look at your strengths and weaknesses as if you are not that person. Because if you look at your strengths and weaknesses with your own eyes,
you're biased.
You're biased. You're trying to see how it is right, but you should be trying to see how it is wrong.
Because that will give you more clarity.
Yeah, because
and you look at it with more what's the word I'm looking at? Scrupulous eye.
Yeah, because I could be like, oh, I told people about it on Facebook. I'm doing it right. See, I'm doing it right.
Hey, I did a thing.
Right, but instead of that, you could say, what did I get out of it? Did I do it only once? Is once enough? And questioning yourself leads to answers. That's the important part. You know, Einstein was Einstein not because he was smart,
or because his name was Einstein.
That is true. Fun fact, little side note, his last words were in German, and the nurse didn't speak German, so his last words were not, no one knows. It probably was like, the Big Bang Theory is ridiculous. And then he was like, but it's true.
Sprachen Sie Deutsch?
Please.
Ich habe die schwarze Lunge.
So Einstein was smart because he questioned things. And all great scientists, all great mathematicians are not trying to solve the problem to be right.
They're asking questions and they're looking for an understanding.
Even though they might find the equation that leads to something being right, they know that there's a chance that that's not correct.
So
it's not the same.
What you're saying is, like, if you have scientists that like do conduct experiments and they're just like recreating those experiments and they come up to a conclusion that something is like, you know, a definitive, the next step is to ask why that is definitive and to see and to continue.
It's to ask how it's wrong, because they already know it's definitive. They don't need to ask more questions on why it's definitive. Now they got to ask questions why it's not definitive.
Ooh.
They have to be like, the idea is, again, if they say this is red, now we don't have to go at it another way to prove that this is still red. We have to go at it a way to prove that it is not red, and that will lead to more answers. More likely than not, we have come to the conclusion that the standard is this red on our wall is red. So they must have done enough experiments, probably not as long as, you know, if the sun is orbiting the earth or the earth is orbiting the sun. But
this is red.
This is red, right? But anyway, we got way off topic. But the point is, when you're creating things, you should be focused on learning, marketing. Learning is the practice. What are your strengths and weaknesses and how are you utilizing that? But in addition, you should be also networking and marketing. So again, if you have a product coming up, use it as a tool to advance or boost your job. And again, there should be a lead up to the release of the product, but there should be a lead up to the lead up to the release of the product. And then there should be during the product being released, and then there should be an after the product's release, and then there should be like a reflection back on the product's release.
So there should be a before, a during, more during, an after, and then a post after.
Yeah, basically. Or we could simplify it and go, listen, while you're coming up with the idea, while you're developing the idea, while you're creating the idea, while you're releasing the idea, while the idea is released. And then it's reflection on 3 times. You reflect on the direct release of it, you reflect on the having done it, and then eventually you look back on it. And you get a lot out of that. But it's not just marketing, right? What's another thing you could do? You could utilize those situations to build relationships. How do you get people involved? And more importantly, how do you get you involved with them while you're doing what you're doing? And people go, what? But a band or an actor or something like that, they think, oh, man, I just need to act. I have a movie coming out. But if you start working with other people working on movies, they'll be interested in the movie you're doing. Because now you're building, like, let's say I work on somebody else's film. All right. And then they do press for that. And they're going to, oh, is this your first thing? It's like, yeah, well, I'm working on this. And then I have my other film. What's your other film? Oh, funny you ask. But if I go, I'm working on this and I'm working on my film, Baba Bagoosh, right? Now they're not going to ask what's the name of the film, which means they're not emotionally interested.
Because you're just giving them the information you're telling. Yeah. You're not creating a conversation.
You're not creating conversation. You're just throwing.
You're just like, here's info. What was it? Info dumping is what you call it.
Like right now, we're not actually in a conversation. You're asking questions, or you're creating statements for me to answer the questions. Right? You're not adding value. Right?
I never add value.
Well, that's not true. Sometimes you do. Like if I'm not here and like you're asleep.
I definitely add value when I'm sleeping. Do I snore? I think I do.
No, you don't. You don't snore.
Wait, how do you know that if I snore or not?
Because you can't wake up when I lay next to you. I just snuggle there. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, he doesn't even care that I'm poking his belly button. Boop, boop, boop.
Oh, look.
Sometimes I pour a little water in it, and and still you don't wake up. It's like chloroform. You are not immune to it. Anyway,
things I've learned today.
Things I learned. So the show today is going to be about what you do is not your job, and those that lead when they rely on their craft to become products for product's sake. And what that means is everything I just said. Ignore that, and the artist brain looks at it. Go, if I make this thing, this will happen. So they just make a product. They go, here's a CD, and I'm going to put all my time and effort into this CD and making this CD great. And then what's going to happen, or a movie or a book. And then once that's done, they're going to move on to the next one. And all that time and energy is wasted because it was focused on the product for the product's sake.
And not the overall brand and the message
for
people to connect to.
Yeah, Nike is as big as it is, not because they sell a pair of shoes. I mean, let's be fair. I mean, Air Jordans are.
Yeah, they definitely.
But they don't, if I remember correctly, Michael Jordan owns Air Jordans and Nike makes them.
Interesting. So he licenses the
brand,
through Nike, and then they just do the thing.
Correct. But I could be slightly wrong on that, but I think his empire is completely built on the shoe style, the brand.
That is crazy.
But anyway, but Nike did not become successful because they made a shoe. And they also didn't become successful because they made multiple shoes. They branched out their branding into, I want to be like Mike. They branched out to LeBron. They branched it out to people who play tennis. Vanessa Williams. They branched it out to people that run. They branched it out. So what are they doing?
They were conquering the entire sports.
Well, they're building their brand. So that's marketing. And they're building relationships with people that have value already and fan bases. So they're piggybacking through these relationship building, which is networking, right? But they're also practicing. They're learning that it's not about the shoe. It's about the association with who the shoe is representing and also what they stand for, which is just do it. They're not, we make good shoes, right? Right? That's not their brand. They're not like, but their brand is push to a check mark that says just do it, just do what you want to do, make things happen, right? But more importantly, I would say on the whole they are an athletic shoe, right? Even though
they've branched off to other stuff like other apparel, because it's all still like athletic base where it's
yeah, but what I'm saying is like they're not when you think Nike you think sports, right? So even though they might, have a leisure shoe or whatever,
leisurely sporty.
And some people buy the shoes not for sports, just for clout, right? But the point is, they make those shoes, and that's the least important thing about them because their brand is about creating this intrigue within yourself. Just do it, be more than just your desires. Go out and make things happen. So again, they are more than their product.
It's the message that they stand for, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they use the well, not just the message. They use the product as a boost to enhance their brand, which is more than just the message, right? All right, so so here's the question: what is my job if my job isn't to create things? JD, do you know?
I think our job is to.
You think our job is? Go ahead.
It's definitely
just tell them
not to work at McDonald's.
Well, that could be your job.
Well,
I mean, working at McDonald's wouldn't be your job, but getting to work at McDonald's could. The process to work at McDonald's is your job. That's right.
They just happen to be paying you for doing your job.
Yeah, because you did your job, and now they hired you, and they keep you there, and they give you raises every 7 years, right? But that's the thing. Like, you hear what I'm saying? You hear that? It doesn't sound right, because you're like, no, the job is they hire you to be whatever, a cashier.
Yeah, they're saying, hey, we hire you to do this job.
Yeah, but that's not true. They're not hiring you to be a cashier, because if they were hiring you to be a cashier, they wouldn't have an interview with you. They wouldn't talk to you to be like, do I like this person? Do they have any value before even touching the cash machine, right? And then they look at your resume, which is marketing. It's literally, who are you and what's your value?
On a sheet of paper.
On a sheet of paper. And then they go, all right, I look at that, and then they place it onto you as a person. So they're building and cultivating a relationship within a 5-minute meeting, and they're utilizing brand building. So you're building awareness to who you say you are. And they're trying to see if they can see what's on paper is relating to your behavior, right? And then the practice aspect is they see if you're qualified by asking you they ask you specific questions. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's like hidden in the interview. Like, you think you're just answering one question, but you're really answering
another
an important question. And they're seeing what your strengths and weaknesses are. Then they hire you. But this is the crazy part: you're not hired to be a cashier. You're hired because of who you are. Now, your responsibility is to do the cashier position, but that's still not your job. Your job rewards you to do what you do passionately. You might want to be a career supermarket person. You might want to eventually be a store manager or something. But the point is, as a cashier,
you have to work your way up.
Yeah, your job now is what? For longevity, time management, money management, and people management, right? So you got to manage your time, make sure you get the work on time, make sure what you do during that time is efficient, productive, not necessarily hardworking, but productive. There's a difference between working hard, and being productive.
You definitely say that all day.
All the time, right? JD works very hard, but he is not as productive as me when it looks like I'm just sitting at my desk.
That is a fact.
The other day I was like, hey, JD, how many things you do? He's like 6. I was like, oh. He's like, how would you do? I was like, 18.
12.
How? Anyway, so that management of time is like how you utilize your time. Are you coming in on time? Are you leaving early or leaving late? What do you do? Then it's the management of your money. Why is that important? Well, if you can't manage your money and organize it to a way that allows you to afford this opportunity, what does that mean? Means, are you paying your bills to have your car, have your transportation, to have the clothes to be at this job, to eat? All these things are important. Do you have a place to shower? This is from money management. Having a budget and being able to organize that budget allows you the opportunity to afford this position, this responsibility. Now, people management is very important because we manage the people in our circle. Do we hang out with the people that are just kind of doing the job to get through, just get their paycheck on Friday? Or are you hanging out with the people that want to go higher up in the business? Are you going out after work with them and hanging out, doing whatever they do? Are you going to the Are
you building those personal relationships beyond just doing the task at the place?
Well, the relationship building is networking. What I'm talking about with people management is the people you place yourself around. Right? Your circle of influence is managed.
Gotcha.
So you might know everybody at that job, but or at that business, right? But that doesn't mean you are managing your people correctly. Because you could be hanging out with I just need to get the check on Friday, or you could be hanging out with the people that go to the company softball game, and you're like, well, I don't like softball, but I want to be a store manager one day. Now, all this sounds crazy because it's like it has nothing to do with entertainment, but it literally is the same thing.
Because it's the same process, because all people are people.
Yeah. So your job is more than the responsibility of what you do. right? So if you're hired as an actor, your responsibility is to act within that project, but your job got you that responsibility. Now you want to maintain that responsibility and create longevity, right? So let's break down what your job actually is. Okay. The first part is your job is to lead you to success. So what are the 3 needs of success, JD?
Network, market, and practice.
That's right. Network, market, practice. Network is simple. It's building and cultivating relationships. Marketing is
designing a brand to build awareness, which generates interest.
how about I'll take this?
You got it.
Marketing is designing a brand to build awareness, which creates interest that ultimately generates sales. So people buy into your brand's message emotionally. I know that's a lot, but you could rewind and listen and write that down.
What's an emotion?
I have no idea. And finally, practice, as we said, in success is understanding your strengths and weaknesses and learning your industry, right? So you're always working on yourself and always bettering yourself to bring value to the table. We're going to get to the table later, but practice is about building your value to bring to the table and not necessarily what you do bring to the table. All right. Now, I said success. For us, we always define success as making a living within your field of interest. A living is not a lifestyle. A living is affording a budgeted average monthly overhead. Okay, a lifestyle is basically your wants, and a living is sacrificing until you can afford a greater life. So a lot of people, they spend money now because they want things now, and they don't have money later. Whereas
they don't manage their money. They just kind of go, they let their wants outweigh their needs.
Correct. And the idea is, what are my needs, right? Your wants versus needs. You go, let me afford my needs now until I've created a system of money and a system of income that allows me to increase my needs, not my wants, but my needs. Because, there's going to come a point where you're making more money and you have more money working for you, where your needs are now slightly bigger. Well, I need a bigger house, or I need a better car, or I need, right?
I need those Jordans.
I need those Jordans, right? Instead of going, I want Jordans, I can't afford them, but I saved up enough money to buy those Jordans. But now I'm back to being broke, but at least I got the Jordans.
That is a want.
That is a want.
Taking precedent over needs.
Correct. All right. So that's success. Now, success, all right, is a frivol, right? Success can vanish like that. That's why you hear about those people that have 15 minutes of fame, right? You can success will get you to the promised land. If you network, market, and practice, you will get to the promised land. It is guaranteed. But it is not guaranteed you will stay there. And the reason is because you could only build relations so much, you can only have so much value, and you could practice only so much, right? Because networking is who you know, marketing is who knows you, and practice is knowing yourself. But this is the issue. Once you're at the promised land, your job to create longevity is management of time, money, and people, right? Also, entrepreneurial brain. Entrepreneurial brain is about finding solutions by thinking outside the box and a proactive effort. And of course, talent. What is talent, JD?
What you are able to bring to the table.
It is what you are able to bring to the table. And sometimes that ableness to bring to the table is a matter of understanding your position. So sometimes, even if you're a leader, you have to know when to follow. And while you follow, you have to know when to lead. That's an important talent. All right.
So that's basically understanding the dynamic of the group that you're in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You don't just go in and go, I'm the best there
I got
is.
this.
Yeah, I got this. No, you go in, you go, all right, who's in charge? How can I help them? Oh, they're busy. No one else is taking charge. Let me step up my game a little bit to take over until the leader comes back. I will instantly step back, and I will be okay if they change everything I did. So that's about being humble too, But so management of time, money, people. We've already talked about this. Time, you got to be in control of things. Things can't be in control of you. You got to organize your money. Management of money is solely about budgeting. It is not about investing. Management of money is about how you control your money influx, how the money in, the money out, how you organize that money is a little bit later, right? Okay. Now, because if you have control over the budget, it leads you to the capabilities of the later
growing
step.
later on.
Yeah. All right. So, and then the people, again, you want to be around people that influence your circle of influence. And what that means is not people who influence your career, but people who influence you to have better habits. And that's why we were saying earlier, do you want to hang out with the people who are just looking to get their Friday check?
Or you're looking to hang out with people who are decision makers, the people who are running the company, the people who, like you said, are going to the company
No,
softball
not
game.
the people who are running the company and not the decision makers. Those
Oh.
people are not influential. Why?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because I know many managers that are just trying to get their check on Friday. Because sometimes they just need a job. They have the experience, but they left the job that didn't, they put a lot of time in and they were jaded and they're like, well, I had the experience, so I'm just going to be the manager. And they just are always that manager.
So those people can still just be there for the paycheck.
There for the paycheck. You're looking for people that are trying to do more. Not that they're doing more work, but they are involved. People that are adding value to the situation instead of just taking. If you're working with someone like, I'm just here from 9 to 5 and I'm done. And then there's people like, well, after I'm done, I'm going to go hang out with these people because these people want to have a career here. And I want to have a career here. So why would I not want to be around
those same people?
Yeah. And more importantly, you might be hanging out with people that are not quote unquote valued. They're at the same level you or even lower, but they have the qualities.
They have the chutzpah, as my grandma would say.
Yeah, to what you want, that moxie. Right?
Moxie's a good one.
So you hang out with them and they may actually go up higher than you quicker because they may have something you're missing, but you befriend them now when they're nobodies. And I say that like, everyone's somebody, but
yeah. But when you're both just starting out,
they're going to reach their hand down and pull you up because it's all about working together, growing together.
And they're going to remember the fact that you guys were like, you bonded. You guys had that.
And they saw
the potential
in you and that you do care. And they go, of course, I'm going to bring this person. I'm not putting my career on the line by suggesting this person follows because I already know their qualifications, their talent, what they bring to the table.
Ooh.
The entrepreneurial brain thing is about people. If you can find yourself saying, I can all the time, you are not utilizing your entrepreneurial brain. If you find yourself saying it's too hard, you're not using your entrepreneurial brain. If you find yourself saying, well, I don't have enough money, you are not using your entrepreneurial brain. Entrepreneurial brain literally thinks outside the box to find solutions in a proactive effort. Every obstacle that comes to you, you must say, there are no walls, there are only solutions. So instead of going, I can't, why don't you try to brainstorm 20 ways you can, even if 19 of them don't work? Because your plan B should just be another route to your plan A, is how you should look at things.
Because it doesn't. If you have a desire to do something, you should find every way to make that a possibility. And then there's always going to be things you come across in life that you're not expecting, and you're going to get curveballs. So like whatever your initial plan is might get thrown off. So that totally makes sense. You should not be discouraged if you have a setback or some sort of roadblock, because you can always find another way to go around.
Yeah, because like when you started your OnlyFans during COVID, I thought you were crazy, but you were just trying to find extra income.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, man.
And then when I realized it had nothing to do with nudity and it was just putting hats on frogs, I asked you, where did you get all these hats?
And you didn't care about the frogs.
Yeah, well, they were already dead.
Well, the schools were closed and they weren't using all like the autopsy frogs.
So someone said there was a ribbon in my plan. Anyway, finally, that's longevity, right? So you've created success. You've gotten to the hilltop. You've created longevity within there by utilizing your 3 needs of longevity, which is the management of time, money, people, entrepreneurial brain, and talent. Now we need to fuel the purpose. So more of your job is to organize your money over your budget. So there's a whole system that I'm not going to go into. That's literally an hour worth of conversation.
That's a very long conversation.
Or more. I will just say the 3 needs of purpose is security, growth, and dream. Once you start organizing your money, and there is a system to that, we have gone over that in our episodes and also on our YouTube and a whole bunch of other things.
That's a very important lesson.
Yeah. The security is an account or at least a section of your organized money that is there to protect you. So if all else fails and you go broke, not an emergency, but literally go broke, The security is there to help you start again. The growth, so it's security, growth, and dream. Security is simply to protect you. The growth is to invest in you. So this is to invest in assets and start, developing passive income, stuff like that.
This way, you can, go bigger.
Yeah, you can go bigger or go broke. But it's also money that's allocated beyond your budget. So it doesn't influence your spending or your ability to exist. It's something that's allocated beyond your expenses. And then, of course, the two other things is the dream rewards you. So basically, you allocate enough money, you go, "Ooh, I can afford myself
You
a
definitely
vacation."
earned those Jordans finally.
You earned. Look, I can afford the want, and it could be Jordans, it could be a vacation, it could be whatever you want, right? But there is a fourth one, which is not a part of you. This does not fuel your purpose. The three needs of purpose fuel your purpose. So it protects you, it invests in you, and it rewards you. But there is an emergency fund that in the beginning, some people like to have $1,000 in their emergency fund, right? But you could have as much as you want. I would definitely recommend a minimum of 1,000, but you should be working to have more in there. Because why would it be bad to have $5,000 in your emergency fund?
Yeah, it definitely would not be bad.
An emergency fund is different than security. Security protects you when you are dead, broke, and starting over. Emergency fund is like if your car breaks, instead of spending any unallocated money, you have the emergency fund to take care of it. More importantly, though, you can start organizing your money to influence those existing expenses. So, for example, in your budget, before you even get to the organizing of the three needs of purpose and your emergency fund, you can budget your money in a way that allows you to take money out per month that goes towards these particular budgeted columns. For example, transportation or car, just because your car is like $300 a month doesn't mean you can't put $325 a month towards that. And what does that mean? Well, the $300 goes towards paying for the car and potentially the insurance or whatever your case may be, but that $25 extra is just another 20. That's $250 a year at the end of the year. But this money also does what? It handles little things like oil changes, right?
Oh yeah.
It handles maybe you're gonna change your windshield wipers. Maybe you're gonna fluids. Maybe it's gonna get a car wash. Maybe
you got a little fender bender. You got to replace one of the headlights.
Well, yeah, I mean, but what I'm saying is, obviously $25 seems like a little bit, but you're not changing your oil every month. You're changing it every 2 or 3 months or every 5,000 miles, depending on how you drive. But the idea is that you are maintaining that kind of spending within your budget. Same thing with clothes. If you're at a job where you know that your clothes, like your jeans are going to get ruined all the time, or your shirt's going to get ruined, or your shoes are going to get used up, allocate that money in your budget
to buy new shoes.
Yeah. And if shoes are $200, you don't allocate $200 a month. You allocate, well, how many pairs of shoes do I need in a year? And then
you break that up.
You break that up. I would probably, like, if shoes were 200, I would allocate it for like 250, right? Why do you do that? Because, in 12,
tax.
Yeah, tax,
inflation,
whatever. You never know, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you're in construction, you're definitely working through boots very quickly.
Yeah. Construction. We're talking to people with brains here.
Oh.
Not that people with construction don't have brains. It's just I made the choice when I was younger not to physically hurt myself, and yet I still to make money. My brother, on the other hand, is very physical. But anyway,
he picks things up and puts them down.
He definitely does. People, cars, whatever.
Wait, has he actually lifted a car before?
Probably.
I could definitely see your brother lifting like the end of a Volkswagen Beetle, just like.
I know he picked up the Yugo once.
Like, really?
Yeah, the back Yugos are not that heavy.
That's still really fun.
They're like 1,500 pounds, but when you lift up the back bumper of a Yugo, you're not picking up 1,500 pounds.
Yeah, because
it's converted by the dimensions of Pythagorean theorem, I believe. Because the weight distribution is different.
Yeah, and I'm assuming the engine for the Yugo is in the front and not in the back.
Correct.
So then, yeah, you're definitely not picking up the heavy end either.
Yeah. This engine's very heavy.
I don't know what's going on.
All right, and let me just say, finally, you got two other sides to your existence for your job, and so you have success, you have longevity, and you have the ability to fuel your purpose. But more importantly, you have to invest into those assets. There are 8 of them: stocks, bonds, mutual funds, intellectual properties, real estate, businesses, IOUs, which is IO unto, which is ultimately you give people money and then they give it back to you at a percentage raise. And then, of course, commodities. What is it you're getting paid for your values? What is it people seek you out for? For example, if you're a musician that has a very unique style, they would be seeking you out for
The intellectual property.
no the commodity of your unique style. You have that and no one else does. So it's a commodity. It's a sought after commodity. For me, I get asked to speak all the time because I have a specific commodity or knowledge base, which is ultimately how to be successful, right?
In a very specific way.
In a very specific way. And that's my specific way, which I've learned from many other people and then simplified it into my
and then also, firsthand application of it. Going,
Yeah.
Oh, like a scientist, you're like, I have a hypothesis. Let me test. Oh my God, it works.
That's how I was able to afford the sticker on the front of my computer. All right. So, and of course, the fifth side of your life to run your life like a business is literally treat your life like a business. What does that mean? It means every career, if you own it or don't, you are a business. If you work for somebody, you are a business. Your life is a business. If you treat your life like a business, you will understand the value of doing all the things that I mentioned, from the 3 needs of success to longevity to purpose and even the assets.
Which is the demonstration of understanding in real time what you do is not your job, because you realize that your job is literally to do everything that you've just said.
Yeah, you do all those things. That is your job. It will reward you to do the thing you do passionately. Your responsibilities are assigned to you because you did your job correctly, because you're managing your time, your money, the people around you, you're finding solutions, you have value, you bring something to the table, you're always learning, you're building relationships, your value is known within that industry. All these things is your job. That's why you get the job. You get those responsibilities and you maintain those responsibilities, and or you get more responsibilities at a greater reward. And that goes for actors and everybody. Brad Pitt did not start out as Brad Pitt. He started out as a background actor,
Yeah.
So that's crazy. All right, moving on.
Central casting, man.
JD.
Thomas.
Oh, wait, real quick. What is my job? Okay. Can you name 3 films from any director? How about 3 albums from any band, or 3 comedy specials from comedians, books from authors, right? Okay. However, they can't be. I want you to ask this question.
Oh.
Are they different from their one-offs? Because artists focus on right now, because all they are worried about is creating the thing inside them, and getting it out is a priority.
Are you asking me to name 3 products made by creative people that are different from one another?
No, that are the same.
Oh yeah. No, hell, even Troll 1 and Troll 2 are 2 different things.
Yeah. Both amazingly horrific.
Oh,
but,
listen. Troll 2 is one of the best terrible movies ever made.
Well, yeah, I mean. But the point is, artists focus on the one-off, and then once it's out, they're done with it. But they focus all their energy. They're creating this thing because artist brain. They go, I have this idea, I need to get it out, and nothing is wrong with that. Keep in mind, when I talk about artist brain and business brain, they are both extremely valuable to you. The artist brain is for you. Never ever let that business brain interfere with your artist brain, but vice versa.
Never let the artist brain interfere with the business brain.
Correct. When you want to create. Just let it flow. You create for you. You make things. You just let it come out. That's your time. However, just like a job, quote unquote, you go to work from 9 to 5. When you get home, now you can't be at your 9 to 5 and write your book.
Because that is not the job.
Right? So you have to think of your career as the same way. Your 9 to 5 is not to write a book. Your 9 to 5 is to do all your job responsibilities. And then at night, when you're done with your job, you can start working on your book. Because the products, even though they might make you money, we're talking about people in the beginning of their careers. You have to focus on building your career before you are reliant. Because Stephen King, the reason he could focus his first 4 hours of the day on writing a book is
Because he's been doing a job for decades.
yeah, he's already established his responsibility worth, meaning people are waiting on him to write. He has a fan base that if he did nothing but write books, which I know that's not true because he speaks at colleges and he does interviews, and even though he doesn't like doing them, he has done them. But the point is, if he did nothing but write books, he would still be able to afford his life because he has the fan base. When you're starting out, you don't have the fan base. So you have to work on your job more before you earn the right for the responsibility to just create and make money because of your creations. Those are two different worlds. I always talk about getting to the mountaintop. However, once you're there, you still have responsibilities. The priorities have changed, and there's different things that go on. But anyway, the problem is artists, once it's out, they move on to the next thing, and that's an issue. That's why it becomes a product for product's sake.
Because they're focusing on the product, and then they're not focusing on building the overall business, which is them.
Yeah, because I have a friend who just released the CD, and it was like this every day for like a freaking month. It's like, the CD's coming out, the album's coming out. Hey, to 28 more days. Hey, 27 more days. Hey, 26 more days. I can't believe it. My album's coming out. My album's coming out. My album's coming out. My album's coming out. Album comes out. Next day, my album's out. My album's out. My album's out. My album's out. And now it's gone. No, he doesn't talk. There's
It's just gone.
It's gone. It was
DED.
He did 1 month of. He did a couple of things where he's like, "Oh, here's so and so working on the album," but like he didn't do real marketing. He didn't do.
It was just like what happened in the middle of that. Like what was so exciting about that moment, other than that person was working on it?
Look, drums. Someone playing drums. But the thing is, now that album's done, what are they working on? Probably the next one, which is how artists are. Actors do it too. They go, I did this film. It's all about this film. This film is great. I can't believe I did this film. You need to see this film, see this film, see this film. All right, it's out. All right, it's out. Okay, it's no longer out. Okay, what am I working on next? Right? And what you're doing is you're putting all that time and energy into doing something for a one-off product instead of focusing on building your company, your brand, your value, building your relationships for your career to exist. If you rely on a product, you are only, what's that saying with musicians? You're only as good as your last performance. They do that for actors too, right? You're only as good as your last product. So if you rely on your product, that's a lot of weight you're putting on a product, especially because the next product you make is not going to be the same. So if you make a movie that's a horror film and they love you in that film, and because that's all they know you about,
you can't remake it. And unless you're George Lucas.
Yeah, you could do Psycho, twice. But the point is, if you do a horror film and that's the only thing they see you in first, they don't know anything about you. You don't care about that stuff. Just look at my performance. They see your acting in the horror film. They go, wow, I love this horror person. Then you make a romance movie next. You will literally lose half your audience that you worked on growing from that horror film.
Because they're going to be like, this is not a horror film.
This is what I was expecting, a horror film. But if you don't want to be known for a horror film or a romantic, and you just want to be a performer, then you do the Brad Pitt thing, which he knew that if he went the pretty boy route, he would get typecast. So his first couple movies, if you notice, are very, very different from each other. From The River Runs Through It to The Legend of the Fall to
Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise, which is his first movie, and then True Romance.
Wait, was that literally his very first movie?
That was his first speaking role. Yeah. But he was getting offers to be the pretty boy, and he was like, I don't want the pretty boy. I want. Let me do this crazy guy. But the point is, he was like, let me continue to focus on building relationships and value and power in the industry. That's why he eventually created
his own production company. And he also has a non-profit too, right? It's something like, which is like, on the side or something else. It's like building homes, I think, or something like that.
Whatever it is, you are supposed to give back. So once you're at a point of value or power, you have to give back to the world. And you do that for not just for yourself, but you want the world to be better. And you want the world you work in to be better too. So you should always be trying to elevate, not for yourself, but for the people, your generations after you, right? Everything we do should be for the generations after us, right? So, eventually you're not going to be the most important person in the room. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
It can't. You will one day turn into the person that was the most important. You know who that is? He's the person that did blah blah blah. Oh, what's he do now? He sits at home. Does he have any pull? Not anymore. But the things he was a part of, or she did, like. Okay, what's next?
So basically, retirement.
Yeah, retirement. What's that say?
That says, "Do you just want to create?" Question mark. That's fine. Just do your job, and it'll open the doors to you to be paid to do those things.
Right. Do you believe that?
I do believe that, because following your instructions, it has literally led me to do those things.
That's right. Because look, if you want to create, just do that. I said that earlier. Artist brain, just create, right? But if you want to be successful and get paid to do the thing you do, you have to do your job. Artists don't do that. They just don't understand it. They believe that if I am so good, I can't be ignored. But that's never worked for anyone, including Steve Martin, who said that. It. If you watch his existence, his rise to success, if you read or listen to his book, okay, you will see, if you write down all his opportunities, they have to do with everything I said about your job, from the 3 needs of success to the 3 needs of longevity.
It's crazy that he even says that, because like he talks about it like very adamantly and in great detail about how he always kept trying to get in to get to write for the Smothers Brothers, and they kept turning him down. So like his Steve Martin is Steve Martin. His jokes at that time were just like the level of his jokes.
Yeah.
So he literally didn't get the opportunity because he was so good they couldn't ignore him. He literally went in through the back door through relationships.
Yeah, the back door.
Ba-ding.
Yeah, no, he it was a relationship that got him even in the door. And then eventually he built his value, and that was his first Emmy, was the Smothers Brothers show. But he didn't get in because of his skill. He got in the door because of his relationships, and he didn't believe in the relationships. He believed in his skill, right? And that is what really pushed him back, and the person who paid him was actually the head writer out of his own pocket,
because the head people were like, no, we don't hire this guy. Who's this guy?
This person doesn't know what they're doing. Anyway, so let's talk about artist brain real quick. Artists believe if I do A, then B might happen. All right, JD and I talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
I believe in the saying, if I do A, then B happens. What's the difference? If I do A, then B might happen. You're being reliant on A. If I make a CD, then I will be successful. If I play a show, I will build my fan base.
The difference is the way you said. So if I do A, then B will happen is definitive. You're saying that you're focusing on something. You're focusing on things that are within your control that will definitely have a reaction. Whereas this, which is if I do A, B might happen. Like you just said, doing A is something that is within your control, but B is reliant on other people, and there's no way one person can control the reaction of other people.
Yeah, you cannot control the response of any other human being in the world. I mean,
unless you club them in the head, that's probably not going to.
But you're not controlling the response. The response is still there. Someone, you go, oh, if I hit him, it'll knock him out, and then you hit somebody in the head, and they just stand right back up, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Oh, this." I was showing you how crappy my swing is. I gotta go. But the thing is, if I do A, then B might happen. For an artist brain, they're reliant on themselves influencing others. Whereas if I do A, then B happens, that's you doing things that are based on your responses. For example, we talk about this with marketing. When you're representing your brand, you are in control of representing your brand. So if I do A, then B happens. If I represent my brand on social media, then my brand is represented on social media. Like that's all that is.
And that's stuff that is within our control.
Yeah. No matter what anyone says, if they go, that's not your brand, you go, all right, well, this is what I believe is my brand. That's all that I only know what I know.
You can't control the conversation.
Yeah. At which, by the way, sometimes you could listen to the conversation, and if they're seeing things you don't really see in your brand, and you go, wait, that is true. Maybe I should accept it. But other times it might, you know, no, I don't want them. I don't want that a part of the conversation at all. I have to change the way I represent my brand, which again is in your control. You don't have control over the conversation. You only have control of how you represent your brand. So if
and how you react to the conversation,
and how you react to the conversation, right? It's the same thing with like if I here's an example. If I want to make if I do A, then B happens. If I make a film, right, and my mentality is it will make me money, I am not doing it correctly, right? But if I do A, okay, and to get people to work together in an environment that allows people to learn and process the system in a practical manner, then people will work in that. You know what I'm saying? Like if I hire somebody or I bring somebody in to volunteer and work on a project, then it is happening, right? That is the result, is they are literally doing it, and I'm in control, because if they're not doing it, they wouldn't be in that situation. You understand?
that makes sense.
But if you're just trying to do something to make money, or here's another thing. If I say I want to help people, then people will believe me.
You have to literally help people.
Yeah. So again, if I do A, then B happens. If I help people, then I am helping people.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. So if I tell people something, then it might turn out that they will believe me. And that's why I tell people anything you tell someone is a lie until you prove it with physical action. You cannot tell somebody this music is great or this movie is going to change your life. That is a lie.
Because there's no way that could be true.
Yeah. If you watch this movie, then B means that you might change your life. And it's like, no. The most is, if you watch this, you will see the movie. That's it, right? And you go, oh, this is a waste of time. This is not a move I should make.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense.
But if I make the movie to get to help me get press, you're still like on that line of like you have no control of it. So you have to find things that are definitive for you. Like, what is it you want to accomplish? What is your mission? So for us, we want to bring people together to help them learn on set and stuff like that, right? So we have to have the environment for them to do it, and then we have to bring people in. And we go, listen, come in, we'll teach you how to do it. It's free. Good, just learn the system.
Get a lasso, tie them up, bring them in.
Yeah. We stick them with dildos.
What?
I'm in.
Giggity.
No, you're not.
Wait.
Wrong hole. Abort. We're pro-life. No,
Wah, wah.
You take it.
Where am I going?
I don't know. Anyway, so but when you're doing things, just think on the practical level of your mission. Am I representing my mission, or am I just doing something? And if you're just doing something, it has no value. It has to, everything you do has to affect everything
that you do.
So that means like literally the value of what you're doing now, if it's only going to value the thing you're doing now, I would rethink it or brainstorm to find ways to have what you're doing now influence other things.
And have it affect the long game.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Anything else?
Oh,
wait. There is one more thing.
Wait.
There's one more thing.
What is this?
This is JD's last
nice
show.
knowing you, everybody. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Do you think people will believe us when it is your last show?
Probably not.
They just be like, okay, we'll see him next week.
And then they come back like, oh God, where is he?
Where is he?
Thank God he's finally
And then the audience shows up. I'm like, what happened?
It's like 50 people all at once.
I still like the story of my cousin. I think I've told it many times.
Oh, on the radio show?
Where everyone's telling, and by everyone, I mean
like
his brother and like his girlfriend who don't like me, or like, Thomas ruins the show with the way he talks and his stupid jokes. But there's like, 20 to 50 people, depending on the night, and that are there to watch the show.
Or listen to the show.
It was a video. And but I would also make like these animated shorts or like these joke videos.
And you'd play it.
And I would play it. So if I'm not there,
those
aren't there. But also neither are my jokes or my conversation, right? And but we also play, like, his part of the show was music. Mine was, I just wanted to be
silly,
ridiculous. No, ridiculous. I didn't care if I was funny. I just wanted to. If I was ridiculous and people laughed, great. If I was ridiculous and people were like, "That's ridiculous," great. All right, because I wanted to be ridiculous.
If I'm ridiculous, then I am ridiculous.
Yeah. If I act ridiculous, I am ridiculous. So anyway, so we did the show for quite some time, and then he was like, "Hey, I was thinking," because like the voices got to him, the voices of influence in his life.
The two people
that
were
hate
everyone.
me. And but yeah, that was the thing. He was telling me a lot of people were saying that like it's difficult to watch the show with me on it. So I was like, "Is this people that are watching the show?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Okay." So I took that in, but I was like, I'm going to just continue to be me because I'm looking for my audience by being me. I'm not looking to build an audience by appeasing people.
Yeah, so you're like, this is not my audience.
Yeah. So then one day, one of the weeks, he goes, "Hey, I was thinking maybe I just do the show myself this week." And I was like, "Oh, okay, no problem." So I'm at home watching the show, because it was live. Mm-hmm. And there were a bunch of people on there, and all of a sudden you just started seeing the comments. "Hey, where's Thomas? Is Thomas there today? Thomas is not there." Right? And he goes, my cousin goes, "No, Thomas won't be joining us this week." And the numbers just went, and there was one person watching, and that was me. And I was like, "Hey, Wayne, do you want me to stay on or?" Because I got things to do. So the following week, he didn't want me on the following week either. And he had his girlfriend on, which made no sense because she A, doesn't like music, and B, is a drone. Like she has a drone personality.
So she's just there. She's not a good.
She talk like this.
Oh my god, that would.
Tom, your words are so mean. What did I say? You said things that I don't like.
Like anchovy.
What? You said you like pizza. I can't eat pizza because I'm fat. All right. What's that have to do with me liking pizza? You're tempting me. All right. Well, you definitely need therapy.
I feel like that is like an exaggeration, but at the same time, I feel like it's not.
It's not an exaggeration at all. Anyway, so the following week, again, it was just him. And he added his girlfriend, and people popped in. They go, "Is Tom not on the show again this week?" And he goes, "No, Tom's not going to do the show." By the way, he didn't have that conversation with me, but I was watching, and he's like, "Tom's not going to do the show anymore. It's going to be me and my girlfriend." And they just went hit 0 again, 1 because I was watching. And the following week I watched, and it was just 1 because it was me. And he's like, "No one showed up this week." And I was like, it must be because of my annoying presence.
That's really funny.
And then the following show, he goes, "This is our last show," but like no one was there.
It's ridiculous.
It's
like, why would you? That's something that always bother me. Like when you have people who are part of like a creative, put up a business venture.
Yeah, tell me about this one.
And it's just like someone who's involved, like they have like an outside voice who's giving opinions about what should be done, and like they have literally no say in the project or whatnot, and like that ends up creating like friction. That's just
well, I wouldn't say creative friction because I didn't give any pushback. He was like, "I want to do the show alone this week." And I said, "Okay," because I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of not caring.
How do you have this master level of Zen?
Because there's
like a statue of the Buddha hit you when you were a child, and it just like went through, and you had like Buddha superpowers.
I use
a radioactive Buddha hit you in the head as a child.
No, look. If I do the show, I will do the show. If I don't do the show, I won't do the show. I remember life before I did the show, and I remember life after I started doing the show. And I am happy with both situations. In fact, I could do something else too. That's the genius of it. I'm not beholden to that existence, and that's why it was easy for me to leave Tenebra, is because I wasn't beholden to that existence.
You were like, okay, this isn't working.
Yeah, I was no longer happy in that situation, so I was able to leave that situation. And I didn't think, and not once was I was like, all right, we gotta create another band and we're gonna blow them out of whatever they do. We're gonna do like I didn't. I just didn't care. In fact,
you left music.
I basically I almost walked away cold turkey, but I did the album first, and then I just left. And I didn't even listen to music either. Like I wasn't like, let me put music on. Like I just stopped listening to music.
Yeah, I know, because there are definitely things that have come out like around the time that you left Tenebra that I've played, and you're like, oh, is this a new thing? And I'm like, no, this thing's like, a decade old.
Like it's terrible.
These were your peers.
They're not my peers. I don't even like them. And I don't own a boat, but peer. No, okay, just me.
Listen,
See, he's the
you're
funniest.
fishing with that
He's
one.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not fishing.
Yeah, you got me hooked.
That
though.
joke was hysterical. Hysterical. So, yeah, no. Well, you know, it is. I have more important things to care about, than am I on the show or not doing the show.
It's not going to affect your ability to live your life, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And also the fact that everybody left the moment they heard I wasn't on the show was funny. So it was worth it for me not to be on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Like, all right.
Like if everyone stayed, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy that existence. Like I have that. And that's funny to me. Like that's a funny moment. I'll be 80 going, I remember
Hey, Wayne.
cousin Ray, he was like, you're ruining the show. It's gonna be my 4 touchdowns, my Ted Bundy Married with Children 4 touchdown story. He ruined the show. And people were like, where is he? And I was like, God. 0. And I was like, do you want me to stay? And he was like, then dragons. What? It's been a long time. I don't
Hey, some of the details are crazy.
There's something crazy.
Plus, every story's better with dragons anyway.
Yeah. Like Dragonetti. I love Bobby Dragonetti. But so it's not that big deal. I think if everyone stayed, though, I also probably wouldn't like.
You wouldn't have cared. You'd
Yeah,
be
like, all right, well, maybe he was right. Why would I care? They didn't like me
because you would have been like, all right, this just wasn't my audience.
Yeah, I've never done comedy and like in a situation where I felt like it was like a dead show, like I just did horrible. Where I was like, oh, they didn't like me. I would just be like, all right, next show.
Yeah, because it's not like you're doing the comedy because you wanted to do the comedy.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be like that with music, but I actually never experienced, except for our first show.
Oh, this one you wore a cape?
Yeah.
Lesson 1.
No cape.
Don't wear a cape. No cape.
But also the room was filled with my brother's friends who in turn were 10 years older than me, 7 to 10 years old. And they didn't, they were just making fun of me. So they weren't really there to see us. They were there to see my brother's band play. And we opened up for my brother's band, which is funny because later on in life, my brother had different bands that opened up for us.
That's funny.
To our fanship. But anyway, but I don't recall ever having a show where people like get off or this sucks. But it was always either they were respectful or they were into it. It was never anything that was just like boo, get off the stage. And every show except for the first show, people got off and was like, that was some good stuff, or I like that one part. And then the first show though, I remember this guy. I'm not gonna give his name, but he came over and he goes, you should play that Jesus Plays water polo song all the time. I go, it's not our song. And it's like, we played it because my brother's playing. It's his song. And as you can see, our other songs sound nothing like it. And he's like, yeah, but that song was good. Your songs were just slow.
It's a doom metal band.
I was wearing a cape. I had a cape on. But my brother also called me Brother Satan on stage. He's like, like I'm like, all right, this next song is Dolio, and then you hear my brother in the other mic. Let's hear it from my brother Satan. And I just look over like, oh God. Then the guitar I'm playing is a Gretsch, so it's huge, and then strap falls off, and I was just like, I'm playing with it on the ground, and then I was like, all right. I was like, stop. Cape off, put the guitar down, picked up my little I think I had I had an Ibanez Roadstar Series 2.
Was this before the 7 strings?
Yeah, it was way before the 7 strings. I got the 7 strings maybe 2002 maybe. Yeah.
So you're like, wait, halfway into the band?
No. Oh yeah, because 2007, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 97
or
to 2007. No. I was not talking to Dan in 2008.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Impossible. No, because when I got back from 97 to like 99, that's when we played that Rum Runner show. So it had to have been like maybe 90, because I came back in like June or July of 97. So maybe 98. Maybe 98 was like our first show. But I was Brother Satan.
Brother Satan.
All right, let's give it up for my Brother Satan. It's just,
that's really funny.
I was like, come on, man. And keep in mind, everyone there is seeing my brother play with us, and then we get off the stage, and he gets on. It's him, and they're all dressed up like funk guys. They got the fake big afros.
That's a drastically different sound.
Yeah, and like
doom metal. Funk.
Yeah, we were definitely on the wrong show. But I did learn something there.
Besides not to wear a cape, is what you mean.
Not wear the cape. It's okay to play with different genre bands as long as the headliner is not your brother.
I mean, that is a valuable lesson.
Yeah, because we built our fan base by playing death metal shows, and we were not death metal. We were doom, but we also were.
You were close enough to make sense, but you were far different enough to stand out.
Yeah, and 2 festivals we did. One, they asked us if we wanted to play a second day.
It was the Milwaukee one, right?
Well,
Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Yeah, one Sun and Steel in Florida. They gave us an encore, and we were the only band, and Testament was playing, that got an encore.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah, that was insane. And then also we were very good friends with Jack, who ran it. Yeah, and then the one of the 2 Milwaukee fests, they asked us if we wanted to do a second night while we were there, because we did so well the first night, and they said, do you guys want to play the second night? And we said yes, but something happened, because we had our girlfriends there, and something happened. One of our girlfriends at home, one of them had to get home, so we ended up not doing that show. And then we made the rule no girlfriends. But I mean, family is family, like
Yeah, no, there are priorities.
Yeah.
But still, if you're doing business stuff, you don't take the pleasure to the business.
Yeah, the pleasure. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like they were managers or anything.
Yeah, they were just there to be like, hey, we're here.
Funny story though, the bass player was sleeping with the female singer in the band at the time, and the drummer was there with his girlfriend, and they all shared a room. So they had 2 beds in one room. And the funny thing is, the bass player's girlfriend at the time ended up becoming the drummer's girlfriend, and that's who he married.
That's all kinds
I'm just
of weird.
saying.
That is all kinds of weird.
Like, we know that the bass player had sexual transmitted diseases. You know what I'm saying?
Ugh.
Listen,
you got to keep things in the metaphorical family.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's definitely gross.
It's gross.
I think they have creams for that now.
Do they?
Maybe.
What creams do you use?
Preparation H.
What is one?
Why do they call it Preparation H and not just call it Preparation Itch? Because it's for the itches.
What?
What?
Preparation high. That's not how it works. Preparation high.
Oh God, I was not expecting that. Well played, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Ooh. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah. It was a good episode.
By the way, I'm not trying to deter people from creating, like create all you want. But what I'm saying is, when you create, if you're creating to make money or build success with that item, you are doing it wrong. If you just make it and put it out for your established fan base to collect, that's fine. But don't put time and money into marketing it if you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're just going to create it and you're like, I have this, just put it out. But if you're like, I want to make money with this, and the only thing you do is release it,
Then you're doing it wrong.
you're doing it right. You are literally wasting your time. What do you think?
I agree.
Have you ever done that, JD?
Yes.
Every single time.
Every time.
I told him to release this like EP as a joke. No, I told him to release this EP, and he was like, "No," and I was like, "Just release it." And then he releases it, and he's like, "I don't like the recordings." I was like, "That's the point.
What?
Like, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. Just get it out.
Be done with it.
Go to
Move
the
on.
next thing." No, it has to be awesome. So he's re-recorded some of the songs onto a new album.
Yeah.
And it still means nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it means to me that like I did the music, which is for me.
Yeah, but
The
what,
music part. The
yeah,
writing
but
part.
but the idea that it's not good enough to be released is the thing that you have to change. That's the part you have to change.
That is the artist brain
That is the art, because it is good enough to release
because it's done.
because it's done. You don't like how it sounds,
And
but
that's
that has
that
nothing
is
to-
that is definitely an artist brain thing
Yeah.
and an anxiety thing and a self criticism thing where it's just like there's always that feeling of not feeling like it's good
Yeah.
enough, but that's just a personal hurdle.
yeah. I mean,
Have you ever written anything or made something that you were just like, I don't know, this is necessarily good enough, or have you always just been like, no, this is good because I wrote it, I'm happy with it?
uh, well, I've written things where I'm like, this is good because I wrote it, and then like maybe like 7 years later, I listened to it, and I was like, oh,
Guy, what was I
I'm
thinking?
no, not even. Just I'm inspired to change or add more, and I have no qualms in doing that.
So like when you take like some old Tenebra songs and like make them Altanian.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like with Tenebra stuff, though, I purposefully, if it's a song I like, I will approach it to change it. I did it with Book of Walls for like the new album, and I was like, I like the old version, so I kept it the old version.
Yeah.
Because I love the old version was ultimately where I was trying to bring
So you wrote an Altanian song in Tenebra.
and it is a song about Altan. It's literally a song about Talmor and Altanian. Like it's literally his song, But I tried rewriting it, and I tried to make it a little bit more like interesting, and then
You're like, nah, keep it.
I was
original.
like, no, the old stuff. It's just so good because it's just the mood. The whole song.
Doom.
No, the song isn't just doom, but it's just a crazy song. And I was like, I cleaned it.
To be
up,
fair,
but I didn't
all of your
change it.
songs are crazy songs.
That's not true. That's not true. Addiction isn't a crazy song. That's a pretty. That song is really doomy. The way I rewrote it. That song I rewrote from Tenebra to Altanian. But I rarely go back and listen to a song and go, I want to rewrite this. I don't find myself doing, because if I write it, I wrote it. It's
like it's done.
It's done. I like even Finally Free, the first album for Altanian. I know that is not the greatest mix in the world, and I have zero cares.
You're like, don't care.
I
Done.
put it out. People listen to it still. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't put it out like, well, I like it. I was like, it's done. Because it will never sound like that live, and it will never sound like that if I play it doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, there it is.
Done.
Have fun. You want to hear it again? Come to a show. You want to hear it better? I don't know.
Come to a show.
Buy the best of album 30 or 40, 50 years.
Where you do like the Iced Earth thing, we just re-record it, all the best
Re-record.
subs, but with
Yeah.
Matt Barlow.
Yeah, and they ruin all the good songs. Like Pure Evil, they re-recorded Pure Evil and ruined it. That song used to be amazing, except for the singer. The original singer can't sing, but that's the only reason I listen to the new version, is because I like Matt Barlow singing. But the original version of Pure Evil is really good, and so some of the other songs they changed too. But I understand why. They wanted to make them shorter and more concise, but
and also use better technology.
Well,
Testament also, I think, did that too. It's like they did the album's like First Strike, Still Deadly, I think, where they just took a bunch of the old stuff.
Well, their new sound is much better than the old sound.
Yes, it is.
But I'm also not a Testament fan. I like Testament songs. But I would say that's true about a lot of bands I listen to.
Yeah, you were, was it a month or so ago? You were going through making like playlists, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I love this band," and you're like realizing, "No, I don't like this band. I
This
like some of
band
their songs."
sucks. The problem is if a band keeps making albums and I just can't get into the newer albums, I like that band less.
Yeah, because
I do then.
there's less material that you
Yeah.
like.
But I found that I really like Dream Theater more than I thought I did.
You're like, oh,
I
actually,
knew I liked Dream Theater, but like I like so many songs.
you're like, yeah, it's. There's a couple times you're jumping on to like look at an album. You're like, oh yeah, I don't really like most of this album. You're like, I like this song. I like this song. Oh, that's literally every song. Okay, I like this album.
Yeah, I like. You know what? I like this album. And then I was like, "What's this new thing?" I don't think I've heard this album, but I have listened to the songs. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh no, I like this song.
You go
Yeah, I like this
oh, I've
album.
listened to this album. I like this album
This
too.
is a good album. Good album. Good album." But Black Sabbath, I would say there's a chance I'm not a Black Sabbath fan anymore.
Yeah, because how many albums did they put out after
Yeah.
Ozzy and after Dio?
Yeah, I don't like Dio Sabbath, but I like Dio's songs. I like Dio Sabbath songs, but I
But
don't
not-
like Dio
I don't
Sabbath.
like Heaven and Hell, like the band. that they are.
Well, that's what they had to call themselves. But there's like 2 or 3 songs that are just like the song "I" is amazing. "Heaven and Hell" is obviously amazing. "Children of Sea" is awesome. Yeah, like it's a great song. But I don't know. I'm more of an Ozzy Sabbath fan, which would make me not a Black Sabbath fan. And I think the same with Iron Maiden. There's so many Iron Maiden albums out now
Oh, yeah, no,
that
'cause-
I don't think I'm an Iron Maiden fan.
There's like 40,000.
I know.
They've literally been around since the 70s.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then also Iced Earth, as much as they're crazy right now.
Yeah.
There was like a point where I stopped being
Now?
an Iced Earth fan. I was like, oh, what's going on here? They just keep releasing the same album. Like
And
they literally released the
yeah,
same album like
it's-
4 times.
And it's like nothing like original. It's just like all
Yeah.
the rehash stuff.
Yeah.
Like pretty much anything. Glorious Burden had some good songs on it, but like overall, basically when like Ripper Owens came in, it was just like,
I know. I was like,
much.
Ripper, yeah. And then I was like, "Ugh. Oh, that's good. I like that.
I really wish that the Gettysburg EP, that was like the second CD on that, was on Spotify, because I really like that.
Oh, the
If they had just done that,
the 1 song 3 track thing.
yeah, if they had just done that instead of like the entire album, that would have been like better.
You know what's
move, in my
insane?
opinion.
When Matt Barlow comes in on one of those songs and it's like the best part of the entire album. It is like, oh, it's so good. The way he says his lines and his just voice is just great. But
He just commands so much like
Yeah.
presence when he's there.
yeah, and that's just an example of somebody, because I don't think Matt Barlow has control over his voice. Actually, let me put it another way. I don't think Matt Barlow is a good singer, but he has control over his voice. Whereas I think Ripper Owens is an amazing singer, but doesn't have control over his voice. And the reason I say this is because if you listen to Matt Barlow, he has dynamic in the way he uses his voice. Whereas Ripper is usually just Ripper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's and like, not to knock the talent it takes to do what he's doing, but I don't think he has range.
He's a one-trick pony.
Yeah, and yeah.
He's got like that mid-range and then the high falsetto, whereas like Matt
is-
Barlow just does everything.
Yeah, he just what do you want me to do? What do you need me to do here?
I got it.
I could do this.
And just walks on stage and just like commands everything.
Well, yeah, minus the hair now. He doesn't have hair anymore.
He doesn't.
He
Does
could
not.
probably, because he has a full head of hair still. He just shaved it all.
Yeah, because he ended up being a police officer.
Yeah,
right?
he's a cop. He's a cop.
With them coppers.
He became a cop. He's a cop.
He's a cop.
After 9/11, he was like, I got to become a cop.
Hey, well, gotta do what you
I
gotta
was
do.
like, yeah, man, good luck. Good luck.
Cheers. You got.
What's crazy is like he was still young enough to become a cop in 2001.
Oh yeah.
It's 20 years ago. Think about that.
My niece wasn't even thought of.
I don't.
I was in junior high when that happened.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was already an adult.
Yeah. No, I was
Wait
a
a
child.
minute. No, I was.
You were in Tenebra.
Yeah. But if 98, I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I was 20. You were 12.
I was 12. I was in 9th grade.
What do you do at 12 years old? Wait, you were ninth. You were 12 in ninth grade. Oh Christ!
Yep.
Crazy.
I was put into school a year early.
Oh, that makes even more sense. Let's just get him in. Let's just get this over.
Just get rid of this kid. He's so
How do we?
annoying.
Yeah, he's so good.
Can't do
I
it.
just hope we don't have more.
18 children later.
Just because I'm a Jewish woman doesn't mean I wanted this many. I told you, pull out. I thought I did. Well, I put it in my hands and squeeged it right back in. I wanted some kids. What? Nothing. You're never leaving. What? There's an issue when every kid is named Mike 1, Mike 2, Mike 3.
You're all named George Foreman.
Yeah, George Foreman's family, right? They're all some form of George.
Yeah.
Georgina, Georgiana, George. I think there's George the second, George the third.
Hold on.
He has a lot of kids. George
How
Foreman
many
kids.
does-
There you go. Holy crap.
12.
Georgetta, Natalie, George
3, George 4.
Yeah,
George.
he named
Junior?
all the boys George. Yeah. That's so funny.
That's insane.
And he named one of the girls Georgetta. That is insane. How old is he? Is he dead yet? He's 72?
Really?
I bet you he could still hurt somebody with that punch, man.
Jeez.
Hi, my
That's
name.
my George Foreman grill.
George has 10 children, and each of his 5 sons
He
are
is
named
6'4".
George. They are also known. That is just ridiculous.
Dude.
He was a big guy.
He had 81 fights and he's won 76 of them.
Damn.
That is insane.
Ali. What's his name?
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. He is, how tall is he? Oh, wait, this is the wrong kid. Let's see, how tall was Muhammad Ali? Oh, he's dead. All right, let's see. Muhammad Ali. How tall is he?
Fabulous, he. Muhammad.
He was 6'3". He had a 78-inch reach. That's crazy.
I'm just looking at my hands like,
dude, that's over 5 feet. That's 6 feet 4 inches, right? Because 72 will be 6 foot. Oh, it's 6 foot 6 inches.
That is a long.
How is that even?
That's a long.
He lost 5 times out of his 61 fights.
That is insane.
That is insane. You think you could beat him?
No. Well, now.
What if you trained? Like him in his prime and you in your prime?
Probably not.
What if you
some
train?
people
Though?
are
What
like
if you train?
born to be, with like natural physical abilities that give them an advantage.
I don't think you would be allowed to fight him though.
Yeah, 'cause he's like, well, how tall is he? 6 something?
Well, he's a heavyweight.
Oh yeah, then I wouldn't be allowed to.
Would you be weight divisions in boxing? I don't even know if you'll be able to box. What do you weigh? You weigh 130?
130.
All right, let's see. Minimum weight of 105 pounds. Minimum weight is a class division.
What's after minimum weight?
Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. Minimum weight to be a boxer is 105.
Huh.
So there's light flyweight, which is 108. So you'd be able to do that. Flyweight, super flyweight, batten weight, super batten weight.
What do they give you the weight?
Yeah, but they're much featherweight and super featherweight. You'd be considered super featherweight.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Who would you be able to fight? Let's see. Super featherweight.
What's the weight for that?
Let's see.
Like what's the
requirements?
Well, you said
130. I said 130.
130 to like
just 130. It says.
Okay.
So who's super featherweight boxers? Are there any good ones? Let's see. Oh Jesus.
Who?
Manny
Floyd
Pacquiao.
Mayweather.
Mayweather would destroy you.
Oh, God.
Oscar. You wouldn't even. None of these people. You couldn't fight any of these people.
I'm also definitely nowhere near as muscular and bulky as those people either. So if
No,
Mayweather is 130 and jacked,
Mayweather has your body type. Look, see,
let me see.
look. He looks just like you. You look like that. You look like that.
Maybe I put on another 10 pounds, maybe.
Oh, look, see, you look like that.
No, he's definitely got more muscle than I do.
He might be a little heavier than you. Oh, see, look. Yeah, look how thin he looks. He looks like a little kid. Oh my God. I'm bigger than he definitely am bigger than he is. 180 pounds. Damn.
Just give him an elbow.
How heavy is Mike Tyson back in the day? Mike Tyson in his prime. Jesus Christ. You couldn't even.
Yeah, no.
I don't even think you would just be like, this is gonna hurt.
Ow.
Can I call out of this? Can I call out? He lost 6 of his 58 fights. And he had 44 knockouts.
Jeez.
His reach was 71 inches. That's pretty good. I guess that's his his hook. I could see that. He was 5'10". Damn. Whatever. Do your job.
And punch somebody.
Now, what do you think Mike Tyson's job was to get to where he was?
To do the triangle.
To do the triangle, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
and then he got paid to, punch the tar out of people.
Yeah,
and bite that guy's ear.
Because you mean Evander Holyfield?
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. Well, you don't like boxing, so it doesn't matter. But no, like every opportunity he got was from a relationship or like meeting somebody, like his manager knew people that like got him into doing certain things.
Yeah, he networked. He built a circle of influence, and he did everything he was supposed to.
Yeah,
do.
he bought a tiger.
Listen, you have to buy a tiger.
By the way, longevity. He went broke, became broke, went to jail. So he was not managing the people around him properly. He was not managing his money nor his time.
He did not have that security.
Yeah, you know what's really insane?
But he had that tiger.
He has 6 losses in his career, right? But there was a point where he came back and he was just fighting people just to make money.
That's crazy.
And he didn't he wasn't training like he was supposed to.
And he was still winning.
He was just
like, all right, whatever.
His 6 losses, I think, are like just the big ones. What are Mike Tyson's losses? Let's see.
They were like spread out through his career, right? They weren't during he was just fighting people for money time.
Yeah. The loss to McBride was perhaps the worst for Tyson fans to have to endure because he didn't train. James Douglas, he came out and said he didn't even train for that. He didn't care. He just needed the money. Holyfield, he lost twice to. Lennox Lewis, well, that makes sense. Williams and McBride again.
So basically, this is like when he came back and he wasn't training.
Yeah, those are his 6 biggest losses. I don't think he lost when he came back. Who's the best boxer of all time? Muhammad Ali is the greatest, was not only one of the best heavyweights of all time, he was also one of the most colorful. Sugar Ray Robinson, oh yeah, he was pretty fast. Rocky Marciano, Joe Louis, Mike Tyson. Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, do you have anything to add to this show?
No, I mean, you pretty much have.
Nope.
You said all the stuff that needed to be said. I'm just here to comment and ask questions.
My name is J. David.
And pretend to look pretty for all the radio listeners.
What do you feel your area of expertise would be, other than vagina pleasing, which I'm just making up?
I don't know. I feel like I'm just constantly learning things.
But you have to have some sort of expertise. You're in your 30s.
I suppose that's true.
You don't think you have expertise?
I feel like I can teach people how to play guitar. Not as in depth as you.
Well, I teach people how to use the guitar. You could teach people how to play with technique. But
I'll accept that. That makes sense.
I-
You definitely know a lot more theory and
yeah.
application than I do. I'm just like,
Yeah.
this will make it work.
and I could teach your technique, even though I'm probably not as clean or as good as you as technique. But
Because you know the technique.
yeah, I know
if
how to do the technique.
Because your thing is, you know,
Yeah.
the writing and the composition aspect.
Yeah, application for use was but the things you can do now, I was able to do, and then I just didn't care. There was a point where I was watching guitarists be guitarists, and I was like, I don't want to be that. Like, because everyone's like, and they do all this tapping, and I go, it does nothing for the song. It does. I don't want to be that.
Like, I want to write the song so that the song does the song.
Yeah, I want people to go, man,
That was a good song.
that was a good not, hey, look, Bill's playing fast.
All right.
Even though I was known for being very fast.
I think it'd be really funny if people just started calling you Bill.
Oh, God, that'd be crazy. No, I was very fast, like very fast. You know, which is funny because we were doom metal. But like I used to do all like solos, like like they were just going up and down the scale. But I didn't do like those
The sweeps?
The sweeps, because I didn't consider that fast. Because it was cheating. Because you just rake. I would literally
hit all the notes.
Yeah, I go but I also went through scales. I'd be like it was ridiculous. And then like when we used to have to play fast parts, sometimes like we'd be playing and Justin would just like look over and he's just like, I can't play that. And I'm just like,
I'll do that. He's like, I'll do the eighth notes.
I used to play so fast that the pick would get like caught in the strings, like momentum, and it didn't feel like I was moving anymore. It was just like that's how fast I could play.
That's really funny. Have you ever melted a pick on stage?
Not on stage. I was very good at pick holding, but
well, if you're playing that fast, did it just like melt at the end? And you're like, I have to change out the pick at the after a song.
Believe it or not, to get that fast, you play light. Like you don't tense up. You just let the but like the looks. I remember the looks were just so funny. This is just turned like, you can't do that.
It's impossible.
And I'd just be like, doing it. And then I'd just be like singing into the mic.
I'm singing.
Oh, yeah, I used to solo and sing. I would just solo over parts because I was like, and they're like, you can't solo. But I was like, why not?
I just did it.
Yeah, look, can't say I can't do something. I just did. But I did. I switched. There was just some point where I was just like, I don't want to be like, because I don't think I think John Petrucci is an amazing guitarist because he can compose.
Not because he's,
fast.
Which he is.
Yeah, but anyone can be fast. Being fast is extremely easy to do. It just takes practice.
Sit there with a metronome.
Yeah.
And play.
But not everybody can be an amazing writer. You can learn how to write. But if you don't, like if your brain just can't comprehend, or like Mozart is Mozart because his brain
could compose.
Yeah, the tools he was given, he was able to see them in a way. Yeah, he can see them in a way that no one else could, and that's how he got Mozart. You can learn what Mozart did, and you can learn how to play like Mozart played, but that little tool in his head that took what he understood and the way he could use those tools, I don't think that could be taught. Like you can be naturally funny, but you can't write jokes, but you can still get people to laugh. But I also think you can learn how to write funny, but I don't think you can learn to be funny.
That makes sense.
Or even like not sportsmanship, like showmanship. I think you can learn to be a performer, but I don't think you can learn to be.
You can't learn to command an audience.
Yeah, like if you watch Ozzy, even in like his older age,
that man can command a stadium just by being there.
Yeah, he just stands in the center of the stage, and it's mesmerizing.
How is he still alive?
I'm like watching him, and I'm just like, he's not even doing anything. And I watched him once get into like a little like machine that sprayed water, and he sprayed the audience, but he himself sat in one position with his mouth wide open, just like in awe. I think he was catatonic. He's, and he's just spraying, and the water is just hitting the same people. And I'm like, oh, that's funny, dude. It was going on for 10 minutes. He didn't move the water, and people. And I was like,
so
yeah,
funny.
that makes sense. But again, I don't think you can learn that. I just think he had something that made him Ozzy Osbourne. I think you can come into yourself. I believe that can happen. Like let's say you have showmanship, but you just don't know how to use it. Again, I think it's the tools you learn that make you go, oh, I know how to make this better. It's the Mozart thing. Like Mozart learned notes, and he was like, oh, I see how these work. Whereas other people learn notes and like, oh, they work like this. But he's like, no. I'm going to change the way music is because I see it differently.
I was like, these are the rules that we have established, but I literally just did this so that that goes against the rules. So I'm just going to continue doing that because I want to.
Like, I feel like I'm like that with music when I write, because I know how to write a good song, but I don't write traditional music. Like, I just...
Yeah, it definitely doesn't have enough djembe. No, djembe, like the drum.
Oh, I want one of those. But I don't. Music to me is boring nowadays because no one does anything. Even I don't think fast or quote unquote complicated
makes it good.
I won't say they aren't great musicians because they're really good at it. Clearly, you have to be good at your instrument
to do what
to do crazy stuff.
You're just saying the composition part is boring.
So boring. There might be cool parts,
but the overall, you're saying majority of what people are writing is just boring.
Like that Pythoria. What's that
Polyphia?
band? Polyphia. Is that the band that we were listening to where they
the instrumental one?
Yeah, but they just do like dance songs.
Yeah, Polyphia.
Like, to me, like, I get it. The drummer, the new drummer,
the new
is amazing. But what they do for me is the same thing in every song. It does not sound different. It sounds like they just, like, if you go, and then like someone like, and they're boom, and they're like layering it, and then the bass, boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. And it's all layering, and you're like, oh, cool. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, are they going to change something? And you're like, let me listen to another song. And it's boom, boom. I'm like, is this the same song? You're like, no, this is a new song. And I'm like, it's the same song. And that's that. I think that's an issue with a lot of artists is they find their sound and they think that's their sound, right?
I think I see. They find the sound and they do it with one trick, and they keep doing that same trick, and then they'll take the sound and expand on it.
Yeah, they'll play different things, but with that sound, and that's why they're boring to me. I don't think they do anything with their music. They're talented, and obviously they caught somebody's attention, and obviously they hit something. They hit a market that was in desperate need of that music. I personally think it's boring, right? I also don't think they write good songs, but they write catchy licks.
They definitely write catchy licks.
And that's, again, that's why a pop song is, you keep playing that pop song, you're going to be like, oh, I love that pop song. But that's why, like, I showed you I know I'm going to say the name Pink, but I showed you Pink, and like you listen to her song and it's going through all these movements. But then you put on the next song and it's a different song. She has like an upbeat song, and then she has like a moody song, and then she has like a piano song. And like, to me, that's good.
That's versatility, but there's still that element of Pink.
Yeah, like Pink still exists in that style. But I also, if you listen to like every Pink album, they're constantly evolving, but it's still Pink. Like the songs I have on my first album do not sound like the songs I have on my second album. But I still have the same sound. Like, I write the same way. but they're different songs. And like I think that's why Metallica had such a backlash from Black Album to Load, is because it
Or
was
even-
hard enough.
Even the Black Album, going from
That's what I'm
Justice
saying.
for All to the Black Album.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was difficult, and then they got on board. They were just like, all right, after hearing the song a million times, and like they toured for 4 years, like, all right, this is a good album. Like that's what people were starting to think, right?
Yeah.
And they were starting to build their fan base. And then literally the next album dropped drastically in sales, and they had semen in
Semen
and
and
blood on the cover, and they cut all their hair, and then all their songs were rock songs,
Yeah.
and they were just like, what
Rocktallica.
happened to Metallica? But to be fair, if you listen to Kill Them All, and then you listen to what's the next album, Ride the Lightning, you can hear from Kill Them All
To Ride the Lightning.
There-
It's a
it's-
drastic change.
yeah, it's like punk thrash to thrash, and then from Ride the Lightning to Master of Puppets, it's like thrash to like
Epic.
thrash, like Metallica's becoming Metallica. I think Master of Puppets is when they were like, this is Metallica. And then Cliff Burton dies, which was a huge part of their sound. And they come out with,
Justice for All.
which they took the bass out altogether.
No, that's there going.
But that album, I don't think sounds anything like what Metallica was finding.
Oh yeah, no.
And then because of that, they were like, let's try to do something. Like they hit a couple of songs like that, like sounded like, that were like, oh, this is very much Metallica. But
Well,
when
there is stuff that Cliff was a part of in the writing process for that album before he died.
yeah,
So they still have a little bit of the sound.
there's
in
a
there.
little bit, but they officially were like, let's
need
just
to-
go to a producer. Let's bring a producer in to help us. And that's when they
Got Bob Rock.
and they did the Black Album and Load and Reloaded. But
Insane Anger.
and say, we're gonna do this song in a real prison, and we're gonna like have the video in a real prison. We're also not gonna care about the sound. Dun, 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 dun. Okay,
Oh,
this-
is that the click track? No, it's a snare. Ting 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 ting.
honestly, my cousin and I, as soon as the first song comes on, gung, 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 we were looking at each other like, maybe it's one of those things where like it starts off like bad sound and then it like
Oh,
zooms in, and it's like dun, 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 dun. And we're like, oh, it's one of these. You look online and like, we are going back to our old sound. No, you're not. This ain't your old sound.
So before you even got into a recording studio,
Yeah, what happened? It was terrible. It was terrible.
before you owned a drum set,
But I will give Metallica credit. At least they're keeping it interesting. They're
you
trying
don't know what to
things.
expect.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know-
I know what to expect now, but
Oh yeah.
total garbage. But I think that's why I like Dream Theater, because the reason they're not boring to me is because the first album they ever wrote sounds nothing like the newest album they wrote, and you could see the evolution of Chance. Like they take risks and they write. Like they really care about writing. Like they're not trying to make a Dream Theater album.
They're just like, let's write an
Yeah.
album.
They're just like what do we feel like writing?
Whereas
And then-
Metallica's like, let's write a Metallica album.
Yeah, what would sound like a Metallica album? I don't know. Probably you're not doing that English accent there, James. I'm drunk. No, you're not. Oh, that's right.
I'm clean now.
I'm sober. The problem with James is that, he comes up with it, and I'm like, no, man, that's really, you just got to do that. No, you didn't.
That's the best Lars impression I've heard today. It's also the only one I've heard today.
That's true. That's true. Sometimes I can get him good. I used to work on it all the time. I got it because Jim Brewer did him once, and I was like, I'm doing a Jim Brewer impression of Lars
You're doing a Jim Brewer impression of Lars.
because it's the best impression. You just throw away the backpack, man. Like,
Oh
we
my God, that
just
story.
want to. Oh God, look, you're ruining. You're just bringing us down. Just get rid of. That's what he said. Just get
That's
rid
such a
of
ridiculous story.
that,
Get rid of
and
the
then like
backpack.
he threw the backpack. He just tossed it.
Oh God,
Fucking
that's so
Jim
funny.
Brewer. Oh God,
I love that guy. He's
Yeah.
a funny guy.
he's very funny. Too bad he's a Mets fan.
Oh.
But yeah, so I think a lot of music is boring because I don't think they do anything. Like even like I like Kill Switch Engage songs.
But overall, you're not a big fan of
Yeah, because it's boring. Like bands are so boring. Like if you listen to Black Sabbath, right? This is probably why my
Old Black Sabbath,
yeah, like Black Sabbath.
like the album.
Listen to the album Black Sabbath, then listen to Paranoid, then listen to Master of Reality, then listen to Volume 4. It's the same band
But
writing
different songs.
Different songs.
But you can tell it's them.
Yeah, like Sabotage is when you're like something's going on here, and
What's
then
going on? How many drugs do you do this time around?
You know, it's like
What just
Megalomania, whatever it's called. Like, it's just like boom, boom, boom.
What just happened?
You know what song?
I think so. Yeah.
It comes on right before
The Symptom of the Universe.
but they cover the band that covers it. They can't speak English. They're like a Brazilian band or something like that. And who covers it?
Sepultura into it. What's
Maybe it was, yeah, cover of
Symptom of
Symptom
the Universe?
Of the Universe.
Symptom of the Universe.
Yeah, Sepultura. Take me to the centuries through you. Like, it's so awesome because it's so like
Ridiculous.
it's just like, and they have like I think one of the best. The way they end the song is really good too. They do a good job with them because it ends with that
cover. Then.
You know,
You're talking about the Sepultura version.
Yeah.
I need to listen to that one again.
Yeah, it's
if I have heard it probably hasn't been since like.
Well, you
forever ago.
It was. I think they did it on the NIB.
The
Nativity in Black.
The cover album.
Yeah, the first one. I think it's on there. But it's just the way they do it. They do some cool things with it. But again, Black Sabbath for me, it's just the music is it. But Led Zeppelin, and also if you listen to Led Zeppelin, like in the beginning, like they were writing like just music. They were just like,
what do we want to write?
Yeah, and I think that's what made the Beatles good too. At a certain point, I'm not a Beatles fan, but like they just started like experimenting.
They're like, what do we want to try?
Yeah, because they were getting known for like writing these like
poppy songs.
Yeah,
and then was it
just like fucking,
then John's like, I want to learn how to play guitar.
Made a cup of tea. We're outside. Like this is amazing. Like this is very good.
Don't forget Octopus's Garden,
which I believe is a Ringo song, right?
I don't know.
Did Ringo write that? Ringo Starr wrote Octopus's
Garden.
Yeah.
He did? That's funny.
The one with the boat? Yeah.
He's like, oh, I get to write a song. Let me write the weirdest one I could think of.
Octopus's Garden. Don't pass me by. And this one. That's funny. Woke up. Made a cup of tea. Whatever. I don't even know this song, but like what other bands, like even like people were like huge fans of Fate No More.
Oh yeah, they definitely.
And I couldn't get into them because they sounded the same. They just and there's some songs you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, but like, or like Alice in Chains. Oh my god! Or like I couldn't stand that.
I like Alice in Chains songs, but I'm definitely not an Alice in Chains fan.
But the thing, those songs that are hits, even the ones where I'm like, I could listen to it. It's only like that because they played it 1 billion times on MTV.
You're like, all right, it's been imprinted on my head.
Yeah, they're crappy songs.
You're right there. I think Thomas is having a stroke, everybody.
I'm just saying.
Oh, genius.
A stroke of genius.
Turn that one
like
around.
Name a band you listen to that every song and every album sound completely different. It shouldn't be that
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, no.
Like I was a fan of what's that band?
The closest thing is Linkin Park, but the first two albums pretty much sound like they're the same from the same album, and then after that, they definitely sounded like Linkin Park, but they definitely have changed.
Metal bands from the 90s. Why is Iron Maiden on here?
Because they've been around forever.
Opeth. There you go. Opeth. No, Opeth has a very specific sound, but
everything up to and excluding Still Life sounds the same, and then anything from Still Life to Watershed has a sound, and then all the new stuff has they have like 3 phases. They have their black metal phase, they have their Opeth phase, and then they have their 70s prog rock phase.
70 prog, yeah. But they also do something where like they'll just throw out weird things occasionally, and they just sound so different. And for example,
the song Lotus Eater.
No, the acoustic with it, basically it's mostly acoustic.
Oh yeah,
with Window Pane is on it. Yeah, Damnation. Like you're like, holy crap, this band's awesome.
Oh yeah. But it's still like their Opeth sound. They sound like Opeth, but it's like weird enough where it's like, all right, this is different.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they Fear Factory. I was like a huge Fear Factory fan, but like they were boring because every song was.
Yeah, I never got into Fear Factory.
Like every song is that. Let's see. Motley Crue. Actually, I will say this. Motley Crue writes some heavy effing songs.
They definitely do.
Right? But I'm not a Motley Crue fan. Dr. Feelgood, they write heavy songs. That band could have been something great, but like the drugs and everything and stuff.
Yeah, and the fact that Vince Neil killed somebody in a car accident.
It happens. He makes music. Leave him alone.
Leave Vince alone.
Let's see. Cradle of Filth, boring.
Oh
Deicide, Ralph is dead, but I was friends with the guitarist Ralph, and they're still boring. Limp Bizkit, boring. Corrosion of Conformity, have a cool sound, boring. Korn found their sound, and they were like, this is what we'll do.
I definitely like they're another band where it's like I like Korn songs, but I'm not a Korn fan.
Oh god, they're just terrible. 9 Inch Nails, terrible.
Oh god, I can't. That's a metal band?
Yeah, they were metal. Cannibal Corpse, again, boring. Soundgarden overall wrote some great albums that I didn't like. But
because they write good songs that you just couldn't get into.
I just couldn't get into that band. But their songs are not boring though. Like Black Hole Sun, it's a 6.5 minute song that changes, and they were right in odd times, and they were a good band. Typo Negative, every album grew, and like I liked it more and more. I towards the end though, the last album sounded basically like their old, like just what they sounded like.
Sounded like Typo Negative.
Yeah, I was like, but their creator is so heavy. The band Creator.
I don't think I actually know enough Creator.
You probably would like Creator because a lot of the bands you listen to wouldn't exist without Creator.
So Creator created them?
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Let's see. Meshuggah, I'm not a fan.
Oh god, I love that band. That band is probably the tightest live show that I have ever personally seen. It is insane.
I don't know. This girl I dated was the tightest live show. Anyway.
Wow.
Sepultura, System of Down, they do write weird stuff, so they at least keep it interesting. But Tool gets boring. See, I critique because like
you need stuff to like keep your attention.
The songs need to be interesting, but again, Tool. There are some songs that Tool wrote where I'm like, oh, this is good,
but that becomes the entire song.
Yeah. Let's see, the 100 best heavy metal bands of the 90s. Oh man.
Uh-oh.
Let's see who it is.
What
do we got here? Who do you think it is?
Alanis Morissette number 1?
What?
I said it's Alanis Morissette number 1.
She has have you ever heard
her
Corrosion of Conformity? Corrosion of Conformity.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the band.
No, she has a song like.
Well, before she was like
Corrosion or something?
she didn't like her first album or whatever. was like kind of heavyish, like rockish before she did was it Jagged Little Pill and became all poppy?
I don't know. She was in a rock band. I know that, but not a metal band. Like
No,
it was
no,
like a '90s. It was
no,
like an
like-
'80s rock band.
Yeah, it was like rock. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't pop.
All right. They say Pantera. I guess 10 is the great. All right. So 1 being the least best. Pantera, Sepultura, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, Motorhead, Metallica, Death, Iron Maiden, and Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath is considered the best heavy metal band
Because they invented it, I'm
of the
assuming.
90s. I disagree.
I think they're taking the bands that were around in the 90s.
I disagree.
And not bands that were formed in the 90s?
Black
or living in the
Sabbath
90s?
albums in the 90s.
Reunion. The live reunion.
Oh, wasn't that 299, I think? Oh, no, 97, right? No, 99.
98?
I don't know.
Wasn't it? Because they
Tear. They released Tear. Terrible.
didn't even know what that was.
Exactly. All right, let's see. They released
Let's see. What do we got?
wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. They released 4 albums.
In the 90s?
Dehumanizer. That's the one with the song I on it.
I don't think I've ever listened to that.
Yeah, Black Sabbath, Paranoid, Master Reality, Volume 4, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Those 1, 2, 3, 4. Those 5 albums you could not touch as a band. You know, like musically, they were out of this world. These songs. The album Black Sabbath is a start to finish. Paranoid is a start to finish. Master Reality is a start to finish. Volume 4 is a couple skips, and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is a couple skips, and Sabotage is like 2 songs. But the point is, the last album was Never Say Die. That was his last album.
Oh yeah,
in '78. But like those first 5 albums are just like, well, here they went gold, went platinum in the U.S. I think platinum is better than gold.
I think so.
Paranoid went 4 times platinum in the U.S. Master Realities went. This is This is a metal band.
Right? At one point, they were the largest band in the world, right?
No, because Led Zeppelin was around during that time. Led Zeppelin was
they
the
had,
largest band in the world.
Because they literally had their own jet.
Yeah. Volume 4 went platinum. Sabbath went platinum. And Sabotage was the first album where they did not go platinum. They went platinum again with Heaven and Hell. And then that was it. No album. No album even went silver. From Born Again, which is a terrible album, all the way. Oh, in 2013, when they released the album 13,
where Ozzy came back,
they went gold. They did not go anywhere in the US, but in the UK, they went gold. Canada, they went platinum. But those first 5 albums, man. Oh,
they literally invented a genre with those albums.
Yeah. Those things changed a lot. Oh, the Reunion went platinum in the US in '98.
That's the live album, right?
Yeah, I think that is the what was the album you were saying?
I think it's just called Reunion because like Ozzy came back.
Yeah, but what was the song? Was it just Reunion? Maybe okay.
No, that was the album I was saying.
Yeah, but they only had one new song on there, I think.
Oh no, I think you pointed that out. There is
yeah, it was just all their hits and then like one new song.
Yeah, and it's a live thing.
It was terrible.
It's so weird.
Album details, huh? Yeah, album details.
Album. It's an album.
That's crazy. What band you like?
In Flames.
In Flame. Is that one word or 2?
2. 3 if you try hard enough.
Try hard enough. Let's see if they have a. They don't have a Wikipedia.
Really? They should be at the top.
Wiki.
Oh.
All right, let's see. They don't have their listing.
There we go.
They have their bandmates because the bandmates thing. What's the album?
No original members are in that band anymore.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
that is crazy. What's their albums?
Do not have their albums?
They have the albums listed, but
But
not.
they don't have like the record sales.
Let's see. Album
Sales.
sales. In Flames. Oh, discography. Okay,
Oh,
here we go.
Here we go. What do we got?
Oh, Jesus. Let's see. It wasn't until Soundtrack to Your Escape came out that they broke 60,000 sales. They got 100,000 sales.
Oh wow.
And then Come Clarity.
Uh-huh.
Where's WW?
Worldwide.
Oh, worldwide. 450,000 sales. And then from there, it went down. The US was 150,000 with Come Clarity in 2006. In 2008, they came out with A Sense of Purpose and they sold 20,000. Oh, that was in their first week. Okay. Oh, wait. Worldwide, they sold 275,000. That's a huge drop.
Yeah.
They aren't even on here for records for their last two albums. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Lunar Strain. It doesn't even have sales on here.
That's ridiculous. To be fair, that album is definitely not their best.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Fun fact:
albums aren't.
That's the album that has the singer from Dark Tranquillity on it.
Dark Tranquillity. See, I like that band, but they're boring songs. Like some of the songs, I'm like, yeah, and then other songs, I'm like, ugh. But look at these sales. Eh? That's ridiculous. Let's look at Iced Earth. Iced Earth
record sales.
Yeah. Oh, discography. Discography.
Let's see what we got.
All right, here. They have 12 studio albums, 2 live albums, a compilation album, video albums. They have 11 music videos. Oh, that's interesting.
That's it.
Skip that. All right. Iced Earth came out in 1990. 0 sales recorded. So that has to be less than 20,000, I'm assuming.
That's crazy.
Right?
I don't know.
Because it looks like they only showed 20,000 or more on the last one, too.
Gotcha.
All right, let's see. Night of the Storm. Knights of the Storm Rider. That's how the singer sang, just for the record. By the way, the first singer on Iced Earth sounded completely different. And then the guy on Night of the Storm Rider, I think, is a new guy, right?
I thought
or is it the same
guy on the first two?
I think he changes the way he sings a little bit.
Probably because they're like, this is terrible.
It's terrible. Burnt Offering comes out in 95. They did not make 20,000 sales. That's ridiculous. Dark Saga, because it's related to the Spawn. 21,000 sales.
They just passed.
Something Wicked This Way Comes, 41,000. Horror Show, 31,000.
That's it?
The Glorious Burden sold 70,000.
Oh, wow.
Then Matt Barlow was gone. Flaming Army.
Glorious Burden. He was gone for that one.
I know, but he sang on that one song, so they didn't say he wasn't gone completely. So they were riding off of the Horror Show and Matt Barlow. And then they were like, what happened, though? Look, everyone jumped on this album. Because, look, they were growing 20, 41, 31, 70, right?
And they changed.
And they changed completely. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums in a row didn't even break 20,000 sales.
That's crazy.
Unless they did, and it's just not being written. Recorded. You know what I'm saying? But
it's just one source.
Peak chart position. Oof. Well, let's see. Iced Earth album sales. Iced Earth's worth. They're saying it's worth $1 million for John Schaefer. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
Did Iced Earth break up? The insurrection is dividing heavy metal. The lead singer and bassist quit after the group's founder was arrested. Yeah, well, I would too. All right, let's see. Maybe this is it.
Yeah, he's definitely. That band is done.
Oh, no, it's just showing its rankings.
Oh, that stinks.
The plagues of Babylon. Oh, my God.
As much as I enjoy Stu Block as a vocalist, I definitely don't think that he does Iced Earth justice.
Yeah, dude. I guess if they don't make 20,000 sales, they don't write it down. That's crazy. They had to have done 20,000 sales minimum.
Maybe just no one is recording it on the Wikipedias.
Maybe. For 5 albums? Holy crap. I think Iced Earth got dropped from their label.
For Century Media?
Let's see. The band and guitarist John's side project Demons and Wizards are no longer listed as Century Media artists. Oh
They
damn!
probably did a quiet drop. Well, he's literally in prison.
Yeah, well, he deserved it.
Yeah. So it's like why keep someone on your roster if you literally can't use the money? You know, you don't agree with what they did, and they're not doing anything.
Matt Barlow is not coming back to Iced Earth. Barlow announced his departure in 2011. Jesus, I remember that.
Because I'm out, guys. I'm out, guys.
I think they did a project together.
Yeah, it ended up being a Christmas album.
Yeah, yeah. Look at him. He probably was like, "Oh crap."
I was like, "This is the last thing I did. It's a Christmas album with John Jabber."
We Three Kings, Silence Nights.
We Three Kings of.
That's the other thing about Ice There. They're just the same thing over and over now.
Why don't we just listen to Horror Show on repeat?
All right. Boom, down, boom, ba-gang, ba-gang, boom, down, boom, dung, 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 boom, down. That's like the baddest bass riff ever. Boom, down, boom, dung, dung, boom, down, bing, dung, dung. And
That entire album is just perfect.
And the Jews return to Zion,
and a comet
comets fill the sky.
Oh man!
And then Dracula's on there. I think Wolfman is great. Wolf is awesome. Dracula's awesome. Jack is good. Jack is good.
I love that song.
Oh
Jack,
yeah.
Dracula and
But isn't
Phantom
it,
Opera Ghost.
What is that? I caught you once. I caught you twice.
Terrible lyrics.
I caught you.
That guitar riff though.
Yeah, I mean, as a song as a whole, though, you gotta.
Don't care. Guitar riff.
I caught you once. I caught you twice. I'm your bird.
No, it's You're My Midnight Sacrifice.
Yeah, you're my midnight sacrifice.
Listen, that song's amazing.
Terrible.
At least the dog is.
Yeah, he's
saying,
ready. Speaking of, all right, let's call it a night. Thanks so much.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Yeah, no, we had somebody listening the whole time. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being around. I guess that's it. See you next week. And
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Oh, remember that if you can, you have to basically